Okay, class. Well, part two. So that was interesting. This computer needed to be restarted because for some reason, right, this cursor, which should be able to pick these up and move them around really easily, was not doing that. Now that happens sometimes. These are computers, computer programs, etc. So sometimes that happens. So again, just to familiarize yourself with these windows, okay? This is a source window. And if you double click on one of these, it will come up in the source window. Similarly, if you double click here from the project window, it will come up in the source window. And then this is your sequence, okay? So up in your project, this is your sequence right here. So I'm going to name this sequence and say still number 1. So that's a sequence, okay? And the sequence is down here, and this is where we do our editing, right? So there's a bunch of different tools we can use for editing. One is to use this over here. You just click on that, or you can see right there that the shortcut is the V, the letter V, right? That allows you to move these around. So if you're thinking, you see this here, and you go like, oh, I want that to be, I want this piece to be later, right? I guess I used 2 of those same ones. Oh, see, that's the source window, so we got to get out of there. So then the program window here. So you're like, oh, I like that. Okay, I want to have this shot after this shot. So I would just pick it up and move it, right? And depending on the duration of these shots, I said these are 4 seconds or so, right? You could use the I, just the letter I gives you an in mark. And over here, you could use the letter O, gives you an out mark, and you see it's actually 5 seconds. So it's 5 seconds. Okay, I'm going to clear the in and out by right-clicking on this area. And I want to make this shorter. So I can make it shorter just by pulling it shorter from this side. I can pull it shorter from that side, right? The other thing I can do is I can go over here if I want to make it shorter, and I can use the razor blade tool, and I can cut it, okay? And then I hit the V, and I go in and I take stuff out that I don't want, okay? And then suddenly I have a different edit. It's something like this, right? So 2 ways, right? You can shorten things by just hovering the V over them and shortening it, right? And you can also use the razor blade tool to cut things and make them shorter, okay? And then you can just highlight them and delete those pieces, okay? So that's something you can do. Now this isn't dealing with sound at all, so I'm going to arrange this. I'm going to be like, okay, I don't like that as an opening shot. What's my opening shot? What's my opening shot? I don't even like this shot, so I'm going to highlight it and delete it. I'm going to go in here. Which one do I like better? I like that one better, so I'm going to delete that because they're essentially the same shot. This one I don't like, so I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to go over here. Oh, that's the end. Okay. Boom, boom. I like that, one after the other. Oh, that one's actually my favorite, so I'm going to put that over here. Okay, so I'm just going to move these into an order that I like. I'm going to get rid of that. So, boom, boom, boom. That's not such a good shot. My thing's going to be very short. It's about a can. It's a lonely can. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll use this shot. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, so I'm going to use that shot. The other thing, you can put them on top of each other, right? Watch how this works. I'm going to put this shot on top of this shot, so it's going to look like this. I want it the other way. I want that to come next. So I'm going to move this over here, and I can even move this down into here, okay? The Z button is your friend. With Z, you can zoom in to help you see what you need to get rid of. Remember, the V button is what you use. So now I have this, and this will go pretty fast. Put some music. Da, 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 da. I want to cut right there, so I'm going to move this over. pretend to have some music. Da 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 da. You know, and I start to tell my story. Okay. Really good. Another really good tool is this tool. You hit A or hit this tool, it will move everything to the right over. So later you won't get stuff out of sync, right? And then you click off that, and then you can move individual clips. But if you want to move all of the clips over, you use the A tool. Okay? And then you go back to V. V is where you're going to be a lot of times. It's just because that's the tool is most sort of often used. So here we are. We're here. Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. Falls over. Falls over. We don't need the other fall over. This down at the bottom. You can play with this, which changes the size of your timeline down here. Okay? So here's my whole film. Obviously, I could cut this way better. Oh, that's really long, so I'm going to cut that, get that a little shorter. And then here, and that poor can is saying goodbye. Terrible movie by me. But anyway, beginning introduction to how we edit down here. So we've talked about these different windows, the program window, your timeline, your sequence down here, right? Your still. So the other thing, I would take this and get it out of that, right? So your stills are there, and here's your sequence. You have your sequence. Now, eventually we'll talk a lot more about these different settings, but this is just the very beginning. You should be able to this is how you'll begin to edit your picture, okay? And the next one I'll show you will begin to edit sound stuff if you want to bring sound in, okay? All right.